makes it difficult. I don't think there was much of a problem on the icing. I know the other day we were working outside here at the firehouse, in a matter of 10 minutes the roads iced up from that rainstorm, and then 15 minutes later they were back to wet again. So if anybody during any kind of event has a problem, you've got myself, and we try to do everybody's block, and if there's a major problem, by you calling me, we'll be able to get to your place a whole lot sooner. We're not putting you on a list or anything. You call, the truck's in the air, we just tell them, go back, you missed one of the blocks, and that happened on a few blocks, especially dead ends. So if you live on a dead end, we don't want to forget you. If the lady is still in the back from the senior citizen complex, we got a lot of organizers in here, because we got a lot of organizations in this town. I'm sure one of them would be happy to sit down with you guys and form your committee group, and in that, this way you guys can get involved.
Well, a lot of people are afraid of repercussions from families.
Yeah, they shouldn't be. I drove, on complaint, I drove through it a couple times. They don't do nothing for the seniors in there. They don't plow the sidewalks, there's lights out. So I'm working with the developers right now to do something about
I
it.
appreciate that.
Other than that, I got nothing else. We'll open it up for public comment. Just to keep in mind, usually January and February is like 2 months before the election. We don't want to do any politicking up here, so if anybody just wants to speak about everyday events, we'll definitely address that.
Hi. Hello. I just want to thank everybody for how much you gave us at the last village meeting. Lucille is here. We fed over 300 and something families. 327 families, also with toys and clothing. So guys, you have nothing to be proud of. So I'm not giving up. I'll be on I just want to thank you guys and the ambulance people and the fire department, how much you do for our community. And our roads were great. I really want to thank you.
Well, through our friends, the village board, we made a lot of contacts while we were in here, and we got friends in high places, one of them being King Cullen, and one of them being the United Way of Long Island. We had reached out to them, and what we got from them is $300 in gift cards from King Cullen. We'd like to give to you. All right, so you can do whatever you have to
King Cullen really always helps us out.
do. King Cullen's very good. So.
They rock.
Okay, we'll open it up for public comment. We're going to leave it for about a minute and a half.
I have two things that are germane to it being January. First, give us an update. I know we're supposed to have the sand replenishing starting over at Smith Point. I don't know if you touched on that. I was at a different meeting. So what's going on with that? Anything?
Okay, good thing you reminded me of that because I was supposed to bring it up. I got a phone call from the Beach Buggy Association last week, and then anybody who reads The Fisherman, the article came out in The Fisherman this month that the project was scratched.
What?
Well, listen, let me finish. That was if you go back to November, originally in November the project was scratched, and then we fought back and we got it back on track. As per Tim Bishop, as of last week, the project is still on track. It's either going to be the last week in January or the first week in February they're going to start. Now, up till today, I haven't seen any equipment on the beach or anything brought near the beach to do it. So I'm hoping as early as next week, we'll start to see some movement.
Okay, that's good. So, Riviera Drive. I've had a couple meetings with some of these engineering companies and stuff with Rebuild by Design, and you can't drive around. So it's hard to show them exactly what we're talking about on our waterfront. I know that, I thought it was my understanding that last January, we were supposed to be doing something, that we resolved this with the DEC, with Riviera Drive, and what they said was a legal fill, what you say is an illegal fill, which they gave us a fine, which you say we don't have a fine. Now it's 2 years this stuff's been on that road, and you cannot use the road. And it's the beautiful waterfront roads. We can't, all my neighbors can't walk their dogs where they've been walking them for 20 years on these roads. And I'd like to know when the road's going to be fixed.
I could probably answer that because I've just been in contact with Mr. Walker and Mr. Scully. Obviously, if you go down here, you can see the only road that's really walkable is the road we fixed. Why can't you walk on it? Okay. Right now, what they want us to put in these holes is basically dirt. And every time you put dirt in the hole, when the tide comes in, high tide comes in, it's just gonna wash it out. It's the constant discussion between the DEC and us, and when they come up with something that we can put, I mean, there's literally nothing other than dirt, earth that we can put there.
Okay, and I'm just gonna point out that the town had bought a grading machine, and the town about 6 times a year would come down and put, they didn't just put dirt, they put river rocks
I'm
as
glad you
well.
mentioned that.
Yeah,
You're
they had
absolutely
river
correct.
rocks, and they had dirt, and they crowned it, and they crowned it, and it was, I'm telling you, they came like 6 times a year with giant dump trucks of dirt, and they did the work so that the road wasn't.
When they took that little grader that was given to Mystic Beach by way of a grant, they actually, and I'm not knocking anybody, they did a great job, but they actually did more harm because they didn't crown the road. It was a small grader, and all they kept doing is pushing the dirt away from the center of the road, not creating a
The
fence.
first guy did. Then they got a guy who actually crowned it. I watched him do
Well,
it for
The
3
problem
years.
with that is they should have never been doing it, and I asked Mr. Scully about it, why did you allow the town to do some corrections there? And he says, I had no idea, so. You know, it's a constant battle with the DEC and us, and we're working on it, every day we work on it.
All right, because, I mean, it's really hard to show people how beautiful the waterfront is when you can't access it, because those roads are so terrible. Especially Cranberry Dock too, same problem.
That's
All right.
town of Brookhaven. So,
I say boardwalk them, we don't need the roads. Get rid of the roads, the state will pay to put boardwalks there.
All right.
And I think that's a great idea.
We'll take that under consideration, thank you. Yeah.
Here we go. I would like to just respond to that. I live right next to that, and maybe once or twice a year.
Jennifer, address us.
Oh, once or twice a year, they would come and do that, and what they would do is come and spend maybe 4 days going from Dogwood, my corner, to Elm, 4 entire days, wasting time, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then they come with a different truck, back and forth. They would do almost a week worth of back and forth into one block, and maybe twice a year we do that. I'm just
You know,
letting
like I
you know. I'm
said,
correcting that.
they tried to do the best they can, and again, I can't stress it enough, we worked with Mr. Scully as close as possible, and, you know, it's gonna be a long event, but we'll get there.
I'm not worried.
Any other, comments?
So we do need the road,
State your
right,
name, please.
Marino, and we do need the road, and there are houses there, so we can't eliminate the road, because they need emergency services, right? And so that those, though we would like to have had some, but in any case, I want to focus on something. We did have something that worked for most of the road, and then there was a challenge. The road was fixed up to a point because of whatever you used at that time. Why can't we go back to that discussion, or can we go back to that discussion with DC, to something that was already working, got challenged, and then some of the folks that came down said it's not good, some said it is good. I mean, I agree we can't leave the road that way, but I think there's an answer there somewhere, other than, how about rocks and dirt? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
What,
Frank, I mean, tell you, saying it more, every day we're working on, trying to work on a solution, you know.
So the last conversation with DC, what's, Cranberry Dock is the town
Correct.
situation. The road leading to Cranberry Dock, whose responsibility is that?
Cranberry itself,
No, the road, yeah,
that's ours, but once you come off the road and make that left turn to go east, you're on town property.
would there be any objection to using rock? Form of dirt? Historic, historic.
I think, yeah, we could use anything we want, but it's town property. I mean, maybe we should get Mr. Panico down here. And I know when I met with Mr. Panico, actually Nick was with me, when we christened the pier there, they said they were gonna do something, but it wasn't gonna be into this year because the budget was really,
Right,
you know, so, let me get an email out to Mr. Panico and see exactly if they plan on doing anything, or turn it over to us. Then we can do something.
I would think rock, I really do, or if you just, other communities put rock down, maybe that's a compromise between what happened before and yours.
You took out like little,
Well, I don't know what kind of rock,
Okay.
I'm not an expert about that.
you want to put big rocks so somebody can,
I'm saying.
Yes, they're right.
You cannot get around, and there are houses and people, bona fide residents that want to rebuild down there, so you go, I'm just saying, I got stuck in one of those, we were delivering, right, applications for.
You shouldn't, I mean, first of all, I mean, the rule of thumb is if you see a puddle, don't go in it, if you don't know how to do this.
Okay, thanks.
Michelle Wilkinson, watch, says on. Hello? Anyway, overall, I've really been happy with the garbage service, but lately, when they're picking up the garbage, they like dump it, it goes all over the road, and then they just keep driving. And then I asked, a couple times went out and said, dropping it all over the road, and they're like, well, I'm sorry, we're in a rush. I never found that acceptable with Brookhaven, and I don't find it.
It's not acceptable, and
And
if
you-
it's your
overall,
steady
it's
guy
been
that's
good.
doing it, is it the
The
steady
same
guy?
people, yeah.
Do you know what truck it is?
I would.
I could probably find out, you're on a Tuesday and Friday, right?
Yes, and like I said, I never had a problem all this time, it's just like recently, last like month or so. It's like every day I'm going out and picking up tons of garbage to come to my house, not really, but.
I'll address it with Mr. Calucci in the
Thank
morning.
you.
I think that's the 24. Any other, can you just step to the podium, say your name, sir?
Hello. Tomorrow is the recycling, and during the Christmas week, or 2 weeks ago, there was an awful lot of recycling going into garbage. And I would think that would reflect on garbage disposal sooner or later. So if everybody starts recycling, we'll have a better community. And most of it's going around the streets too. All right, thank you. Mario DeMayo, 188 Washington Drive.
Thank you, Mario. And I got to apologize because there was a little confusion during the holidays. They kind of confused the cans with the paper goods. They were called, actually, the confusion started during the snowstorm. And when I spoke to Mr. Calucci from the company, he said, Billy, in all fairness, the roads are kind of bad. I didn't want to put my men out if something happened. I did agree with him. So, it's, sometimes we have to just put it aside and he'll get it the next day, which I think the next day he came, he actually threw everything into one truck, so. He worked so good with us. I mean, this complaint, I'll get on him tomorrow morning and I'm sure, he'll get on his guys. If they dropped it, then they need to clean it. Sir?
That's, okay. I'm Steve Daniels, I live here in Mason Beach. This has got to do with flood prevention. I don't know how many people have basements, but a couple of days before the storm hit, I had plenty of time to prepare for it. And one of the things I wanted to get was sandbags. And Home Depot has it on their website. So does Lowe's, but I couldn't get it. And then, furthermore, I couldn't get any sand either. I couldn't. If I would have got a few sandbags, I could have prevented my basement from getting flooded.
All right, for the future, I mean, we can't go backwards, but for the future, our new DPW yard will have sand in it, and I will see if I can make a contact to get some sandbags, and all you gotta do is contact us, and we'll be happy.
And sand.
Correct.
Yeah. And the other thing is.
We won't come and pack them, but,
We hope we never happen. But another thing is, another issue is gas stations without power. There's some kind of law going through legislature about.
I see something in the newspaper yesterday that there's X amount of thousands of gas stations that are gonna be getting generators. I don't know if anything in Suffolk County, but I will definitely look into it.
If you need an electrician, just give me a call.
All right, nice plug. Okay,
Bill, can I just ask? It may not be time, but Brian, I wonder if you would consider, the town of Brookhaven's vacant, it's abandoned house structure law.
The registration law?
Yes, registration
Yeah,
law.
we're having,
Okay, maybe not ready to discuss it, but I wonder if you could take that, look at it. When I called around about it, they said, well, we expect challenges on all of the things that we do, because we think we're right, we're gonna go ahead anyway. That whole thing of the vacant your house and the registration of vacant structures is helpful to us as a community, because then there's Tim out there and his people inspecting those houses. And whatever else.
this was brought up by trustee Capiello at the work session, the last work session that we're scheduled the public hearing for February for that law. So we're gonna have it drafted and it should hopefully be adopted by the village in February, at the February meeting.
Okay, the other thing is about the nuisance law, is there a need for a modification or adjustment about that law to be able to be used? The nuisance law. The
Like,
one that we have on the books is from Patchogue?
yeah,
Okay. Is it the way in which the summonses are written, the ticket that's written is the problem, or is it I don't know enough about it yet, but it looked like a good law.
yeah, our nuisance law works, it is good. A lot of times, our nuisance law is not necessarily used, it's usually like the second or third step. The first step is the state property maintenance code,
Okay,
and that always works.
okay. But the nuisance law is different in that it has specific fines, right?
Correct.
And it has more teeth to it, it has more,
To a certain extent, yeah, to a certain extent. It really has to do with, really what happens in Mastic Beach with the issues of tickets, it's an ownership issue. And in any town that has any mortgage foreclosures, that's often an issue, and it could be any, it could be, Setauket, all the way to Wading River, to Mastic Beach, to Amityville, it's all the exact same situation. A lot of times you're trying to get who the actual owner is who's responsible for it. And then oftentimes when the house gets abandoned, squatters get in, or some kind of other situation is happening that Tim and the code enforcement guys are dealing with, it's finding the responsible party. Whether title now is in the bank, a lot of times they wait and they're stretching out the foreclosure sale until the bank gets on title, or it's the previous owner who was either foreclosed and abandoned the property and is no longer nowhere to be found.
and in the case of the bank, if the bank is not local, money banks are not local. So what happens when a bank is not local?
If a bank is untitled, they'll generally bring it into some LLC that has to be registered in New York, and we'll summons them. Tim summons them before.
And if they're out of state?
and I think, if I can add to that, Frank, the problem that I feel, and it's my personal feelings, is people would like us to go at warp speed. We have to do everything within the boundaries of the law, which we do. So if we can't get you today, we may get you tomorrow. If we can't get you tomorrow, we'll get you sometime. And it is protocols that we have to follow in order to make it legit and make it legal. So again, we are the village is doing the best they can to get these absentee landlords or these absentee homeowners and these derelict houses up to compliance. It's just gonna take a little bit longer. You gotta realize a lot of these houses were there long before the village was. And in the last 3.5 years, I think we've taken down quite a few of these derelict houses. 9 to be exact.
Sure, there's nothing wrong with the law, see
No, we work on it every day, so, just bear with us. Any other body?
Yeah, just one.
Any other body, listen to me.
Hello, Virginia Gross, 300 Whittier Drive, Mastic Beach. We have a local business, Ron's Auto Repair on Mastic Road. The trucks, the cars, they're parked halfway into the lanes on Mastic Road. It's kind of out of control. So if you can just do that, I'd appreciate it.
Definitely will do.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, I was just surprised they didn't take it already, so we'll check it out to see if this is.
And they're also parking on Hawthorne now, like they're overflow tow trucks
Okay,
with.
a lot of ice, a lot of business, a lot of business.
Yeah, well.
Also, just want to plug in, there's 2 new businesses on Neighborhood Road. There's the barber shop that opened up by Ice Cream Cottage. If you look at Frank's hairdo, he gives very good haircuts. He's going for a trim and he takes it all off. The other one is Mercedes Meat Market. I took my wife in there the other day. She loves it. She's actually doing a weekly plan with them. Their food is out of this world. We actually did a price comparison between ShopRite, Pathmark, King Cullen. Their meats, if not a little bit lower, they're compatible, and their meats are very fresh, so. Just a plug, I was hoping they would be here tonight, but the two of them are working real hard, because if you go there in the daytime, they are pretty busy. Other than that, we got one more.
Come on, Frank. I'll make me come over there. Back to Ron. Do we have any towing authority? Because giving Ron a $20 ticket is not gonna do anything, all right? He'll ignore you. But if you bring a tow truck and tow...
He's our tow truck for the towing company. That's why I said he's our towing company for the village, and I will personally go down and talk to him.
But I'm saying, but all that whole street, I mean, go ahead to the dirt guy, he's parked in the street. Everybody's parked on village property, that's village property. You can't park there. And I think the only way you're gonna stop that from happening is when they get up in the morning and they find that all the vehicles are not there, maybe they won't park there. That's just my opinion. That's what they do in Manhattan. That's what they do in real cities.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, but it's not overnight. It's usually the daytime. They take those truck trucks home. Okay, we have no other questions. I want to thank everybody for coming tonight, and if you can, please keep an eye on the emails that get sent out as far as if we're going to have the new village hall open for the February meeting. I'm trying real hard. And I'll take a motion to go to executive.